of this is I'm losing sexual interest because of my boyfriend's size.
Wow.
It's a good one.
Oh, I'm so curious. Okay. Welcome to the Pleasure Program. My name is Holly.
I'm Victoria.
We are two licensed therapists specializing in sex therapy, here to share our knowledge and answer your questions around all things related to a healthy and pleasurable sex life. Let's hear this Reddit post.
Let's dive in. So again, I'm losing sexual interest because of my boyfriend's size. We have a good relationship. He's good to me and he's good in bed, but his penis is huge, massive. I'm not just talking length. I've been with 8+ inches before. The girth is ridiculous. Think the top of a pop can.
Wow. Ooh, I got a shudder.
I'm tight, tighter than average. It doesn't even go in without lube. The first month we would have sex, I would literally bleed after. Sex can be painful with him, even though it's been almost 6 months. It still hurts from time to time. I have to be very horny before sex, or it can be unbearable. He also lasts so long and finishes more than once. Sorry, I had to switch out a word for YouTube's.
We had to do a little censorship here.
Little censorship for YouTube there. I have a sex drive, but for the first time in my life, I don't want to be intimate all the time. I'm good to have sex 3 to 4 days a week. Honestly, his penis may be too big for my body. Is there any advice on how to improve intimacy?
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I picked this one on purpose, obviously, because everyone's like, oh, the bigger the better. Oh, size matters. And it's like, really, is it always the bigger the better? Because go on Reddit and you'll see lots of stories like that, actually.
Yeah, I do believe that. Because, yeah, I mean, there's, I think, first of all, if we're talking about heterosexual relationship here, if you're a man listening to our video, keep in mind, like, you are penetrating a cavity into another person's body. Like, it's pretty invasive. It's pretty intrusive. You have to realize that, like, there's sensitive tissue in there. Like, you know, injuries can happen. You can't really even see everything that's going on, you know. So
Yeah.
it's different. It's a different experience for a woman. And, yeah, bigger is not necessarily better.
Right, exactly. So I was hoping that this would help challenge some of those fears out there around having a small penis. There are some pros to a variety of penis sizes, right? So getting off the hill that I like to die on here. For me, I'm not sure the first thing that came to mind for you, if there was anything in particular. Mine was what like struck me was her saying that she was tighter than average. That was what got me.
Oh, really? Why?
Because I'm thinking, how do you know what average tightness is of a vagina? Like, what does that even...
Did you go investigate? Did you go check out all your friends'
Right,
vaginas?
right. What does that mean? So when she says that, all of my red flags go up of, is there a dysfunction here? If you're feeling like you are tighter than average, what does that mean? Does that mean that you have pain with other forms of sex, or with toys, or with tampons? Like, do you have pain inserting anything? And that's why you're saying you're tighter than average, because maybe your friends don't express pain with tampon use, but you do, right? And the fact that, you know, she just talks about how difficult it is with entry, and how she's bled afterwards. It's just, there's a lot of red flags here of, there could be dysfunction, right?
That's a good point.
Going on.
That's a good point. And so I guess maybe one of our first recommendations would be to go see your OBGYN. Or if you have, you know, if you don't have one, get one and go see. Did she say how old she was?
No ages in this.
No ages in this one. Right, because if you have this perception that somehow you're tighter than average, then you must be getting that from some other place other than your boyfriend, right?
Right.
I mean, we're assuming. We don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really good point, and to kind of see if there's anything possibly going on with her pelvic floor that might need addressing, which we have a video all about Painful Penetration that we will link below that really dives into all of the potential causes for vaginismus and kind of how to go about treating that.
Right. Sex shouldn't hurt, and there shouldn't be bleeding afterwards either. Like, if you're experiencing a menstrual cycle, sure, but if not, there should not be blood.
I think too. I mean, like, does that happen sometimes if maybe things were a bit too vigorous or maybe you weren't well lubricated? Despite the best of everyone's intentions, that might happen occasionally. And you should take note of that. If that does happen, you should kind of go, ooh, something went wrong here. We need to reassess. And for future reference, maybe make sure you're well lubricated. Make sure, if there's any discomfort that you communicate that with your partner and pause. Like, hey, hang on, this is actually feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Let's move or reposition or whatnot. Your first thought was spot on, Victoria. My initial thought was lubrication. Like, that should be a must. No matter how aroused you are, no matter how much self-lubrication you produce, if your partner is exceptionally large and you know that that's challenging, you need to just use lubrication. Like, it's only going to help.
I completely agree. I don't think it's bad for you to say that you can't even insert it without lubrication. We don't need to. It's not like a competition. We don't need to try to insert it without lubrication.
What are we proving here?
Right.
I mean, it's not there is no award at the end of the end of a sexual experience if you manage to not use lube. It's perfectly normal to need it.
And sometimes even with all the lube and maybe even with no dysfunction, there could be discomfort with a penis that just is uncomfortable for you, potentially because of the size or shape or whatever. And that's okay. That happens. That doesn't mean you're doomed or you're incompatible or anything like that. It's just, it requires maybe some curiosity and creativity, such as maybe changing some positions. Maybe there are some positions that hurt more than others and others actually feel pleasurable, so you can play around with that. And then also play around with accessories. There are accessories that you can buy that will shorten the insertable length of the penis. Think of just basically like a little donut that goes over the penis. And it limits the depth that the penis can actually enter into a vulva. They can come in multiple different rings or donuts that you can stack, so it's customizable for the length, for whatever feels pleasurable. And it is also pleasurable for your partner who has the penis because they're meant to feel like skin. And they're also compatible with condoms. Just be mindful of whatever the material is, because some types of lubes don't work with all types of toys.
That's a good point.
Her desire is limited. I guess we didn't touch on that either.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because she just wants to have. She's like, I can still have sex 3 to 4 times a week, but her desire is less. So she's got
wow. What? She's criticizing herself for only wanting sex 3 to 4 times a week. I mean, that's pretty good. I think, what's your expectation every day? And if you do desire sex every day, there's nothing wrong with you. And as long as that's working for both of them, there's no reason to need to increase the frequency. Frequency isn't everything, right? You want to have quality over quantity is always going to do better for your sex life. So improving the quality of the sex you're having, improving the how much pleasure she's experiencing. It's completely normal to not desire sex that is not pleasurable.
Yes.
If you are feeling pain and discomfort when you have sex with your partner, it is a normal human response to not desire sex, because you're reinforcing that it's kind of uncomfortable and painful. So it's in everyone's best interest to not worry about how often you're having sex
100%.
and just focus on improving the quality of the sex and making sure she's comfortable and finding pleasure in the experience. And you know what? Penetration isn't everything. If you're just like, you know what, I'm not up for the penetration here. So how about we do mutual masturbation or utilize a toy or something like that.
Yeah.
There's other ways to have fun together.
Yeah.
And so switch it up, be open and be curious, and you can have too much pressure around the expectation that penetration happens and goes well, and that can actually also decrease the quality of the sex you're having. So make it fun, keep it pleasurable, and make that the priority.
Please leave us a comment if you have any additional advice for this Redditor.
If you liked our Reddit reaction, we will link our Reddit reaction playlist below, and you can check out some other videos where we share our thoughts and our expertise on these topics.